Hey everybody, and welcome to the Focus Garage. In today's episode, we're going to be working on the Jetta again. We're going to be changing the oil on this 2015 Volkswagen Jetta TDI. This engine does have the EA288 engine, which is a 2.0 liter turbo diesel. The oil change intervals on these cars usually go for a while, anywhere from 7 to 10,000 miles, and I am due for a change. So we're going to go ahead and show you in this video how to change the oil on this particular vehicle. You want to start off by making sure that the vehicle is warmed up. I've gone ahead and drove it around for a few minutes just to make sure the oil is warm and circulated through the car. Next step is you're going to want to properly and safely secure the vehicle. I've got it up on ramps here, which was the easiest route for me getting it in the air. However, you could use, jack and jack stands, something along the lines of that. Once you've got the vehicle up in the air as seen here, you're going to go ahead, go underneath, and remove that front skid tray. I'm going to show you how that's done in just a moment. Alright, the next step you're going to want to go ahead and do here is remove this skid tray. This is blocking any access you have from the oil pan and the oil filter. Along this vehicle, we've got one screw in the front here, and all of these, with the exception of one of them, are going to be a T25 torque spit. So this front guy's a T25. Then along each side, the driver's side and the passenger side, you've got this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And then in the back, you've got some bigger bolts here. You can see you've got one right there, one right there, and one right there. Those are T45s that you're going to have to remove. So go ahead and grab yourself a nice set of torque spits, pull those bolts out, and get that skid plate removed. That's what I'm going to go ahead and do right now, and I'll check back in with you. So with that skid plate removed, you now have access to the entire underside of the vehicle. The oil drain plug is very easy to see. It's going to be in your plastic oil pan, because Volkswagen. But the bolt, let me see here, is right there. Whoop. The socket that I found best fits that is a 19 millimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this bolt, and we're going to let the oil drain out into the drain pan here. When changing oil, make sure that you've got some rags down and stuff so you don't make a total mess of your garage. I've done this way too many times on different vehicles where you're expecting to be very clean about it, and it doesn't come out also clean. This is also a good time to give your vehicle an inspection underneath, check for leaks or anything like that. The only kind of mess I can see is where somebody previously changed this oil before. The filter is right here. It looks like they dripped some of the oil onto this connector here, but other than that, where the oil pan meets the engine block and the transmission, everything's very dry underneath here. So, you don't go under here very often, so it's a good chance to check up underneath the car, make sure everything looks good. Give me a little bit here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this plug out, drain out the oil, but it won't be a little bit for you guys. We'll be back in a second. So, you can see here we've got a nice little stream of oil dripping out of the vehicle from the oil pan. Since it is a diesel, the oil is going to be pretty dark. So I'm going to let that drain for a little bit. But one tip I do want to let you know when you're letting the oil drain, make sure you've got the dipstick removed and the oil cap removed. What this is going to do, it's going to pull vacuum through the vehicle to make sure that all the air can escape and push all the oil out through the bottom there. So let it drain for a few minutes. The perks of doing the oil change on your own is that you're not being rushed at a shop or the dealer where, they're going to kind of short sight you. With this up in the air here, you can let this sit for as long as you need to make sure all of the stuff drains out. I bought my oil change parts, can't really see here, through idparts.com. This is a great resource if you have any kind of diesel vehicle, especially a European diesel vehicle. They give you the kit with everything you need. So you can see I've got the oil change reminder sticker there. They actually provide you with a brand new oil pan bolt, which is nice, with a washer, so you don't have to worry about your other one getting crushed or anything like that. And then they give you different choices of oil to use. This is what I went with here. This particular motor takes about 6 quarts of oil. So I've got the Pinto Super Performance oil. This is rated for a 10,000 mile interval. I typically don't run my car that long between oil changes just because I don't like to do that. But I'll probably let this go for about 7,500 miles or so until I do another change. So you've got that. It does come with a nifty little tool for the oil filter, because it is a challenge on these vehicles to take that oil filter out without making a mess. And then you've got a brand new OEM spec oil filter right here to throw on that vehicle. So I'm going to let the oil drain out, and then I'll show you guys the next step. Bear with me here, because this is probably going to be the most difficult part of this whole oil change to film. So your oil filter is in the front of the vehicle right here. You can actually see that decently well. For reference, there's the front bumper. And before you get to all the good stuff, it's right here. So you've got this little pump right here. I think it's for emissions or for your air conditioning. There's an electrical plug on it. You need to remove that. So you slide the clip back, pinch and remove, and then this wire harness is free. there's a clip here that secures this wire harness to this bracket, which also needs to be removed so you don't make a mess all over everything. Once you've got that removed, just go ahead and pull it out of the way, and you'll have access to this. This is a 13mm oil drain nut on the filter. So you'll remove that nut, let all the oil drain out of the filter, and then once that's done, go ahead and remove the filter with a 32mm socket. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now that the oil is pretty much done draining from the pan, and I'll check back with you. Alright, so we've gone ahead and we've got the oil filter housing removed now, which is just this, and the filter sits right inside of this. So we've got the housing removed. That was a 32mm on the bottom. And then before we removed that, we took out the drain plug, which is a 13mm, and the oil will drain from here. Because I ordered my parts directly from idparts.com, I've got a OEM spec filter and new O-rings for both the bottom of the housing there and the bottom of this drain plug. I'm gonna go ahead and switch those out real quick and then throw them in the car. Just wanted to give you guys a clip of the whole filter assembly reassembled before I throw it up in the car here. So through the drain plug back in, it does have the torque spec on it. It is 5.2 Newton meters, so not very much at all. So that's just a 13 that I tightened back in there. Replace the O-ring on that. And then we replaced the O-ring on this as well. It all came with the oil filter. And then the filter itself simply just snaps into place. You pop it down in there, it clicks, and that's it. So I'm gonna go ahead now and throw this back up in the car using the 32mm socket that I've got here. And then I'm gonna grab the drain plug from over there and toss that back in the car. Once that's all good, we're gonna go ahead and add 6 quarts of our Pento Super oil. Okay, I'm gonna show you everything buttoned up now. So we've got this wire harness plugged back in and the clip secured. We've got the wiring harness mounting point re-secured right there. The oil filter housing has been torqued, as well as the drain nut on that is now closed and shut. And then we've got our brand new oil drain plug right here, fully tight, fully secure. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the skid plate on, and then we're gonna fill the car with oil. A very helpful tip to anyone when putting on this under tray is you're gonna see there's little click tabs, only 2 of them, one on each side. There's one here, and then there's one on the other side. Make sure you line those up first, click those into place, and then secure the under tray's big 3 back bolts first before going around the outside. This will help everything kind of line up into place where it needs to be, and it'll make your ease of reinstallation of this giant plastic plate a lot easier if you're doing this alone and on the floor like I am. If you've gotten this far, you probably know what you're doing. What I went ahead and did now is, pull the dipstick out, fill the car with almost 6 full quarts. I think I did like 5.8 quarts worth of oil. That's where I was getting a full reading. You're gonna wanna go ahead and start the car, run, check for leaks, make sure there's no issues with that. After you're done with that, you do wanna go inside the vehicle and you're gonna wanna reset the oil maintenance minder. I'm gonna use an OBD tool called OBD11, which pretty much just plugs into my vehicle's OBD2 port right there. And I can go into settings there and reset the oil change maintenance minder. That's how I'm going to get it to tell me that my oil is good, and then I'll know when to do it next. But other than that, that's going to wrap up this one. If you guys do have any questions, definitely feel free to shoot us a comment down below, and look forward to helping you out. Thank you, and you guys have